And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Curley versus Simmons-Hudson. Step forward.
Robert Curley is suing his ex-girlfriend, Therese Simmons, and her son, 18-year-old Carlton Hudson. Robert says he loaned his car to Therese, and she returned it damaged.
Mr. Curley, you and Miss Simmons were in a relationship for a period of time. This is her son. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And while you were in that relationship, she bought a car. The loan was in your name.
That's correct.
When you separated and the relationship terminated, you indicated to her that she could keep the car if she made the payments.
That is correct.
Or she could return it to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you would pay it off.
Yes,
so far, is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Is that the gist of your arrangement with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And when were you supposed to return the car to him?
By the end of March.
Did you make March's payment?
No.
Why?
I returned the car to him on February the 23rd.
You returned the car to him on February 23rd. In what condition?
My son had actually used the car to go to work, and
in what condition?
It was wrecked.
It was wrecked. When you made the arrangement to return the car to him at the end of March, was the car wrecked?
No.
So he said, return this perfectly good car to me. I will sell it and either get rid of the loan or I'll take care of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Or you keep it and make the payments. You made a decision to return it to him. Before you returned it to him, your son wrecked the car.
That is correct.
And he wants the payoff on the loan. That's what you want?
No, Your Honor. Actually, the loan is for the total payoff on the loan or the vehicle is $8,900. I just wanted to get the money back, being reimbursed for the damages of the car.
And how much were the damages?
$4,114, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues.
You wrecked the car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Why isn't it your responsibility to fix this car? Speak.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Curley says 18-year-old Carlton Hudson drove his car without permission and wrecked it. Carlton and his mother claim it's Robert's responsibility to fix the vehicle.
Now, who let the insurance lapse on the car?
The insurance lapsed on the car. I had liability insurance on the car.
Well, you can't have just liability insurance on a car if you have a loan outstanding on a car. You're supposed to have both.
That's correct.
Why didn't you have both?
The car was not in my name. I was only able to carry liability. And
wait,
with
that's
being
not true. What do you mean you were only able? You mean you only could afford to carry?
That is correct.
Well, that's a different story. It's not that you weren't able to get insurance that involved both collision and liability. You chose not to.
That is correct.
You chose not to. You wrecked the car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And you wrecked the car during a storm?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And you totaled the other car?
Not totaled. It did have some damages to it, which our insurance did take care of.
Because your mother had liability insurance. So you explain to me why it's not your responsibility to return to Mr. Curley a car in reasonable condition that just suffered from normal wear and tear, which he should be prepared to accept because that was his arrangement. Why isn't it your responsibility to fix this car? Speak.
Your Honor, honestly, I don't think this has anything to do with the car. First of all, I think...
No, I don't care what you think.
Yes, ma'am.
What you think is totally irrelevant to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You wrecked the car. It's now his responsibility.
Right.
He doesn't get the same value as he would have before you wrecked the car. Now you explain to me why it's not your responsibility and or your mother's responsibility to make him whole, since it was your fault that this accident happened in the first place.
Okay. I was called into work unexpectedly.
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yes, ma'am.
You were driving the car. Your mother chose not to have collision insurance. Her choice. There's only one innocent party. That's him. You explain to me why you shouldn't pay to have the car fixed.
Well, he took back the car directly after that, which my mom had already paid $7,000 on.
Your mother used the car for how long?
2.5 years.
Consider it a really cheap rental.
Exactly, Your Honor.
No, not exactly. That wasn't your arrangement that you were renting a car from him. Your arrangement was when you finished paying it off, it would be your car.
Right.
You chose to change the rules.
Right.
Fine. That was your agreement. Before that time, you allowed someone else to drive the car and wreck it. So now you're going to explain to me in a language that I understand why you're not responsible and he's not responsible for fixing Mr. Curley's car.
Because I have paid for rental use, whatever you want to call for the car, for $7,000 plus the upkeep on this car. At any time, Robert Curley could come to my home and take the car.
There's something wrong with you. There is something wrong with you. I don't know whether you're just dense or whether you figure I got to make up a good story so that I have a defense. I really don't know. I mean, if you believe it, then you're dense.
Okay.
Your son wrecked the car. You chose not to cover his loan by not having full coverage on the car, which you should have had. Then we wouldn't be standing here today. It was your choice.
Well, exactly. You just said it, that it was his loan, and if it is his loan, then full coverage insurance should be in his name.
You're an idiot.
Robert Curley.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm telling you something. That is the most idiotic response that I've heard. Are you getting nothing what I'm saying to you? Nothing what I'm saying to you?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Now, you knew enough to get liability insurance.
Exactly, because he...
No. You knew enough to get liability insurance. You chose not to get collision because it was more money. You chose to have liability insurance because, God forbid, you got into an accident with the car. You would be covered. Your home, your job, nobody could get a judgment against you because you had to have liability insurance. And as far as he's concerned, you said, the hell with him. If I get into a car and the car's wrecked, I'm just going to give it back to him like a piece of junk. It's not my responsibility. The car's not in my name. No, loan's not in my name. Listen to me very carefully. You're a very lucky man that it didn't work out.
I appreciate that, Your Honor, and I agree. Totally.
Very lucky man, because either she's slick or she's dense. Either way, you don't need her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $41.14. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now it's case number 22 on the calendar in the matter of Harris, Washington versus Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
How old are you?
17.
What's your first name?
Jordan.
Jordan, you're a very tall boy.
Yes.
Woo! 17 years old. How tall are you?
6'6".
Life's not fair. All I wanted to be was 5'4".
All I wanted to do was be rich.
You made it.
Yeah.
Jordan, you play baseball?
Basketball.
Basketball. And this was your coach?
Yes.
Not your coach anymore?
Yes.
And you and your mother are suing him over an iPod?
Correct.
An iPod that Mr. Johnson said he did in fact sell. He's not even sure it belonged to you, but he has some story to tell me that he thinks justifies taking your iPod and selling it, and then he has a counterclaim for certain money that he says he extended to you, Jordan, and some harassment nonsense. So, Mr. Johnson, why don't you tell me about the iPod?
I know very little about the iPod until the incident happened.
Well, you were traveling, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
When were you traveling?
It was in July of 2009.
And you were traveling with the team?
Yes, ma'am.
Jordan was a member of the team?
At that time, yes, ma'am.
You were traveling by bus?
We rented a 12-passenger van.
Is he the tallest one on the team?
At that time, yes, he was.
Where'd you get the iPod from, Jordan?
I bought it from a friend.
What friend?
Caleb.
When did you buy it from Caleb?
Say about March of 09.
How much did you pay him for it?
$300.
Back in March of 09, what were they selling them for in the store?
$400. $450.
Why wouldn't you buy one from the store?
Because my friend was selling it for cheaper.
Where did he get it from?
He got it from the store.
Okay. So tell me, now you're traveling by bus, Mr. Johnson, and what happened?
Well, to make the story right, my witness here can testify as to when the iPod first came in question.
Okay. Who are you?
Tammy Williams.
How do you know these people?
I'm his wife, and I'm a team manager, team mom. I take care of all the tournaments, make all the reservations.
Tell me what you know about this iPod.
I do know that we had got to our destination.
Which was where?
Las Vegas, Nevada. And Jordan approached me and told me that his iPod was missing. I told him, did you check your bag good enough? And Jordan said he did and he couldn't find it. Told him, go check the van. He said, well, maybe someone took it. And I told him, no one took it. So let everyone get their stuff out the van first. Go back and search the van. It's probably in the van. After that, I didn't hear anything about it until a couple days later. That time I had assumed that Jordan had found it because he never mentioned it anymore.
Okay. Then you can pick it up, Mr. Johnson.
Well, I was made aware of an incident concerning a player having money stolen from him. And so we decided to have a team meeting to try to get to the bottom of what was going on. And during that meeting, it was discovered, which he later admitted to, that Jordan was the perpetrator of stealing the $20 from the other teammate.
Well, tell me what Jordan said to you at that meeting.
At the initial meeting, when we had everybody, we called it kind of holding court. And so when I confronted Jordan, it was laughed off at like it was a prank. So at that time, I was like, man, give him his money back and be done with it. And that was the last I heard
Jordan,
at that time.
is that correct?
That's incorrect.
Tell me about the $20.
Okay.
Don't look up there. Up there's not going to help you.
Okay, after my iPod was missing for about 2 days, I was upset, and I seen a wallet on the bed, and I looked in it, and there's some money in there. I was upset about the iPod, so I just took I took $20 out of the iPod. I mean, out of the wallet.
Out of one of your teammates' wallets?
Yes, it was just sitting there.
I don't care if it was sitting there or doing a jig. You stole $20 out of his wallet.
Okay.
So, Mr. Johnson, you gave the player the $20?
Actually, my wife gave the player
the $20.
He had been given the opportunity to return that money earlier in the day, and he never would do that. He told me he had left the money in his bag in the room, and I told him I would be going in his bag to retrieve the money to give it back to the player. When I got to the room, there was no money in the bag. So I had to wait till for Jordan to come back from sightseeing to once again have the team meeting again and confront him about the $20.
And what happened at that meeting?
This is when his whole attitude really flipped on me. He, matter of fact, told me that he had no intentions of returning the money, and I was kind of thrown aback, and I asked him, well, why? What's going on? Why would you take your teammate's money? And he said, well, somebody stole my iPod. And I said, Jordan, nobody stole your iPod. I said, I got 12 teenagers pretty much living out of a 12-passenger van. The van is a mess. Did you go down there and search it? He said, no. I said, I tell you what, I am going to sleep. I'm tired. I've been coaching all day. I've been driving most of the time. I'm tired. You have till I wake up the next morning to go clean the van out to go get your iPod. If I get down there the next morning and I find that iPod, it belongs to me now because I had to pay the kid the $20 to keep the peace. And I basically told him he sold his iPod for $20.
So you said, I returned the $20 that you stole to the young man. If I go down and find your iPod, the iPod belongs to me.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went down and lo and behold, what'd you find in the van?
First thing, when I opened the door, I looked under the seat where he was sitting, and there's a beautiful iPod sitting right under the seat where he was sitting at.
So what'd you do with it?
I walked up to the room, pretty upset still. I'm a coach, I get kind of animated. And I told him, I said, look, you got to the next morning when we get back home in Bakersfield. Bring me my $20, or the iPod is mine, and I'll do with it whatever I want to.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Would you think if you saw a wallet sitting over there, you had the right to go into a wallet and take money?
No.
Of course not. Where do you think he gets that from?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Jordan Washington says his former basketball coach, Devin Johnson, stole his iPod. Devin says he was trying to teach Jordan a lesson, and he is countersuing for an unpaid loan.
Now, Jordan, why didn't you return the $20 to the coach? I believe what he says, that he said to you, I have your iPod. When we get back to Bakersfield, give me the $20 back, because nobody stole your iPod, you just dropped it on the floor. Just give me back the $20 and I'll give you the iPod. Otherwise, I'm going to sell the iPod or do whatever I want to do with it, and I'll pay myself back. Why didn't you just give him back the $20?
I didn't have the $20 at the time.
What'd you do with it?
I already spent it.
On what?
Vegas. It was Vegas. Spent it.
May I say something, Your Honor? And actually, mind you, when he left to leave with us to Vegas, he didn't have his tournament money, and he had no money in his pocket. My wife felt sorry for him and was giving him spending money during that time just to put something in his pocket. So he didn't even have to steal from the boy. It might not have been a lot of money, but it was $10 here, $10 there. and that
Jordan,
he didn't appreciate that.
Did the Johnsons give you any money when you were traveling?
They gave me approximately $10. They gave me $10 to eat, okay?
Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
Actually, Your Honor, I was purchasing him food, as other boys. He wasn't the only one. Some of them had more money than others. When they wanted to go sightsee, I gave him money. I gave that day, over the time, I gave over a couple $100s. I'm giving 10 here, 15 here, and buying their meals.
You have some source of revenue from this team?
No.
No, actually, Your Honor, it's just a neighborhood traveling team. I just started to try to help at-risk kids in our community.
How is it funded?
By car washes, and then whatever we don't make up on car wash, we've split amongst the kids, and they had to come up with $20, $25, whatever to travel.
Well, how do you get the van? The van is more than $20, $25.
Through car washes, we kick in some money. You know, we just do what's necessary. Actually, Your Honor, I have a little article and some stuff that has, to show that we've been doing it for 8 years now. We're very serious about trying to make a difference.
How long were you on the team, Jordan?
I say about 3 months.
How long were the other kids on the team?
Since they were young, childhood.
What?
When Jordan told me what had happened, Jordan, I, and a friend had met with Mr. Johnson at the park. We waited till he finished Little League football. He was coaching. And I talked to him about the iPod. He told me what had happened. And he never once brought up that Jordan owed him any money. I asked him for the iPod back. He said that he had sold it. I said, well, you're either going to have to give him the iPod back or the money. And he just basically said, take him to court. And he went on and on about street justice, and I'm from the hood, and this is how we deal with that. And I said, I don't care where you're from. Legally, you're not supposed to hold somebody's property in payment of anything.
You're right.
Excuse me,
Now, just a second. You're right. But what I want to know, Ms. Harris, is what did you do and say to your son with regard to stealing this boy's money because he was angry?
I told Jordan he was wrong and he was going to have to accept responsibility.
Did he give the money back?
And no money was ever mentioned to me.
Listen to me. You didn't hear my question, Miss Harris.
Did he give the money back?
Did he give the money back to the boy who he stole it from?
No, he didn't.
Well, you come back to me, Miss Harris, when your son gives back the $20 to the boy who he stole from. You come back to me and ask for some justice from the court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can't come into a court and say, I stole, but there are no consequences. And somebody who, in effect, took the law into his own hands and decided what an appropriate response would be in his capacity as coach, I think it was wrong. Put your hand down, sir. I think it was wrong. But he doesn't have clean hands. He sort of thinks it was okay because he thought somebody stole his iPod. It was okay for him to steal out of somebody's wallet. Would you think if you saw a wallet sitting over there, you had the right to go into a wallet and take money?
No.
Of course not. Where do you think he gets that from?
He basically was trying to get the iPod back.
No, that had nothing to do with it. You're making excuses for him, Miss Harris. That's an excuse. He just said to me he was mad because he thought somebody stole his iPod, so he was going to steal somebody's money.
Yes.
There were 12 people. I mean, more likely than not, he lost it rather than somebody stealing it. As it happened, that's what happened. He lost it. He found it, but he didn't even bother to look for it. It wasn't right under his nose, so he assumed somebody stole it. But that doesn't give him the right to go and steal somebody's money. So you come to me after your son pays back the $20 to the boy who he stole from. Then I'm going to entertain his case for the return of his iPod. You understand each other, Jordan?
Yes.
Perfect. How long ago did you steal this money?
It was during the trip, July 7th.
You've had almost a year to return the money.
The boy and I made arrangements.
To what?
To where I would have to help him with his homework. I go to the same high school as he do.
And?
He struggles in a subject, and I help him, and the debt is already paid off. Instead of paying him $20, I helped him on his homework.
Why didn't you pay him back his $20 and help him with his homework anyway?
Your Honor, I find it real funny that he says he helped this man with his homework. Jordan has been in 5 schools in the last 4 years because of academic and failing grades. Caleb is a top-notch student. There's no way this young man is going to help that kid with his homework. He's 50 credits behind in school. I tried to help him out with coaching my football team to earn 10 more credits. He didn't complete that.
Does that sound right, Mr. Washington?
That's not true.
What subjects were you helping Caleb in?
Algebra, math.
Algebra is math.
Yes.
Come to me with proof, sir, that you, in fact, paid back the $20, and I'll hear your claim with regard to the return of your iPod. Mr. Johnson, it is your claim that you advanced some money to Jordan.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can't create a debt with a minor.
I understand that, Your Honor, but...
Unless his mother agreed to repay you.
Can I tell you how that came about?
Absolutely.
During that time, Caleb was living with his father. I had never met the mother until after this incident, okay? When I brought Jordan home, I presented the iPod to his dad. It was not received because there was a question to where he got the iPod from.
What do you mean it wasn't received?
Well, when I tried to give the iPod to his father said, I don't want it because I don't know where my son got it from, and through his investigation, he couldn't find out where he got it from. So he would not take the iPod back. So that's when I decided I had to go ahead and sell it because it was a question. When can I bring my counterclaim up?
I asked you about it, but you were hell-bent on telling me this story, which isn't, as it happens, an interesting story.
Now, when I'm suing for the counterclaim, he didn't have his tournament money. It was agreed upon, what I assumed his parents, that when we returned.
With whom?
Well, at the time it was his father, but I didn't know his mother was involved in his life at the time. So I didn't know, if it was either one. They both, whoever has supposed to have custody of them now. But on top of that,
tournament money, sir, is not unnecessary. It's not food, clothing, or shelter. So you can't hold Miss Harris responsible.
He needed food and shelter while he was in Vegas.
But you didn't make an agreement with her.
Okay.
To take him on a tournament. You made an agreement with his father.
I concede that, no problem. Now, I have another question now that I'm going for harassment because him, his mother, and the boyfriend approached my practice, disrupted my practice, and were claiming about the iPod, and then totally...
You better stop doing that, Miss Harris. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your son is a thief. He stole money. That's what you should be concerned about. I don't know if he stole the iPod. I believe the story Mr. Johnson tells me that his father says, I'm not touching this iPod because I don't know where he got it from. Because certainly I didn't give him $300 for an iPod. And I assume that at the time he was living with his father. Is that right?
No, he was there on summer vacation with his father.
I assume he was living with his father at the time.
Yes.
That's living with. Summer. Do you mean June, July, and August?
Yes.
Okay. So he was living with his father and he wasn't sure. Did you give him $300 for an iPod?
No.
Was he working?
Yes.
Where?
Paper route.
When?
He's been doing the paper route since '07.
And so the money he got from the paper route he used to buy the iPod, is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Did you tell that to your father?
No, my father knew nothing about the iPod.
He says he went to return it.
Until that's the only time he knew about an iPod, me having an iPod.
Huh.
Your Honor, when his father called me and told me about the incident in Vegas, he never mentioned to me about an iPod or about Coach D having his iPod. Him and Coach D are friends. They've known each other for years. And he basically didn't want to get involved because Jordan is his son and the coach is his friend.
Miss Harris, who started this problem?
Jordan, by stealing.
Right. Your emphasis should be on your son's conduct.
Yes, ma'am. He's basically a good kid, and this never happened before.
Fine. If he's basically a good kid and this never happened before, fine. But don't make excuses. And the fact that it sounds to me like Mr. Johnson donates a lot of time to the community to try to do good things, right?
Yes, but it was wrong what he did.
Yes, it was wrong what he did. He didn't steal, he exercised bad judgment with regard to teaching your son a lesson.
Yes.
That's different from stealing. That's different from a conscious act of trying to deprive someone else of their property knowing it's the wrong thing to do. And that's where your emphasis should be. And I suggest you and your son and your boyfriend stay away from Mr. Johnson. And if you want to see me again, you'll come back to see me again, having established to my satisfaction that your son's debt is paid. Do we understand each other?
Yes. Can I say
That's
one more
all.
thing?
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yes, case number 135 on the calendar in the matter of McLeary versus Ashburn.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss McLeary, Mr. Ashburn is a friend of yours. I assume he's still a friend of yours. You claimed that he caused some damage to a car as a result of a gun that he was carrying in the car, shooting into the dashboard accidentally. You want him to pay for the damage. He already paid for the windshield.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what this case is about?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not a friend of mine right now, though. He's an ex-friend. We don't talk.
All right. Is anything she said, Mr. Ashburn, not true? I'm asking you, are you still her friend?
No, I'm not her friend.
When was the last time you spoke to her? Look at me, Mr. Ashburn. When was the last time you spoke to her?
Probably sometime in January, I would say.
When did you pay for the windshield?
When she came and visited me in December.
Your Honor. Sorry.
Why did you pay for the windshield?
I mean, I really didn't want to, but she couldn't make it back home to Richmond if I didn't pay for the windshield.
Okay, so she was visiting you.
Yes.
And you live in Virginia?
Yes.
And she lives also in Virginia?
Yes.
How many miles from where you are?
About 75.
And she came to visit and spend how much time with you?
Well, her and her witness came and visited me and my twin brother.
Were you dating?
Well, we had met them in the club because we were all on a Christmas break.
Quiet.
The weekend before.
Yeah.
And they just came and visited.
You were on a Christmas break from where?
A school.
What school were you at?
I go to Norfolk State University.
And the plaintiff, where did she go to school?
Virginia Commonwealth University.
Now, she came to visit you, and this incident happened in December?
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
Pretty much, we were going into a neighborhood where, I didn't really feel that comfortable, so I brought my weapon.
What kind of weapon?
Smith & Wesson 40 SW.
What is that? And you don't need a license or anything in Virginia to carry that gun?
Yes. I mean, you have to register the gun, but I didn't have a concealed weapons license. That's why I had it in the open carry. It had to be visible. And pretty much, we were leaving the party, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean you were leaving? You had been to a party?
Yes.
And where did you leave the gun when you were at the party?
It was on my hip when we were in the party.
On your hip?
Yes.
Well, is that a concealed weapon?
No, because I wasn't concealing it because it was in the open carry. I was showing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you kind of get what I'm saying.
How many other morons were carrying their guns at a party where everybody was drinking? Why are you laughing? I just want to know why you're laughing.
Yeah.
What is funny?
I guess nothing is funny, Your Honor. Probably no other morons were carrying the weapon, but I decided...
Great answer, Mr. Ashburn.
But I decided to take my, it was out of my better judgment, I guess. So we were leaving the party, you know what I'm saying? Her and her friend, they had been drinking. So I knew the area, so I decided to drive. So we got in the car, you know what I'm saying? I had put one in the head of the gun, like, just in case. That was also a bad decision. Her and her friend were uncomfortable with that when we got in the car, so they kind of wanted me to clear it. So I was just like, you know what I'm saying, let's just wait until we get to my house. We can handle all that, you know what I'm saying? We were driving, and, like, she was just going in. You know, like, people that have been drinking, they can be kind of abrasive, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yo, chill out.
Were you drinking?
Huh? No. I mean, I wasn't. Nah. I mean, I can't really say that what I had drunk had been drinking. I might have had like a beer or two. That was it. I was good to drive, Your Honor. I was better than these two.
Take your hands off your hips.
Sorry, Your Honor.
So at this point, I had took the gun out the house that was laying in right beside me. And she was just like, make sure there's nothing in there, make sure there's nothing in there. I'm like, man, yo, chill out, let's just wait. So she then reaches for the gun. I actually pulled the trigger, and the bullet went through the windshield.
And you paid for the windshield?
Yes, I did. But I had never agreed to pay for the dashboard because to me that was ridiculous.
What was ridiculous?
The dashboard.
I don't understand. What do you mean it was ridiculous?
I mean, like, she wanted me to pay her $850 for it's like this big, like the hole in like the dashboard. I don't understand how that could accumulate to $850. But at the same time, I never went and got an estimate because I wasn't interested in paying for it.
I want to see the damage to the dashboard.
Here's the car, and here are the damages.
Just show me the damage to the dashboard.
Okay.
The windshield he paid for. So the windshield I'm not interested in. So you're talking about this little hole in the dashboard?
Yeah, but can I tell my side of the story now?
No, I'll ask you questions. You're talking about this little hole in the dashboard.
Top, if you look at the top of the dashboard, it exploded. It went from underneath and exploded. And I did go and get 2 estimates. The first one was almost $1,400 because they told me that I have to replace the whole thing because inside there's glass and the sponge is all cracked and broken. So I said $1,400 is too much, and I went all over Richmond to go find a cheaper estimate so it'd be easier for him to pay me this money. And then I got an $800 estimate for
Why weren't you driving? Just listen to me.
Okay.
I'm going to ask questions now.
All right.
Why weren't you driving your car after the party?
Okay.
That requires an answer.
Okay,
Why weren't you driving, Miss McCleary, your car after the party?
Okay, because we're in Hampton, I did not know the place. He convinced me that it's easier for him to drive because he knows the ins and outs of the city, and we're turning, like, it was far from where we drove. So
And how much did you have to drink at the party?
I did not drink at all. I did not drink at all.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How many times have you gotten into a car with a friend where they put a gun on the console?
This is the first time, Your Honor.
And you go to college?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then you don't get into the car.
And later today,
I didn't understand a lot of this case, and I'm going to figure out what's going on here because a lot of it doesn't sound kosher to me. And if something doesn't sound kosher to me, it usually is because something's not right.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tasia McCleary says former friend Mitchell Ashburn owes for the cost to replace her dashboard after his gun accidentally discharged in her car.
Now, you didn't drink at all. When you got into the car to go to the party, where was the gun?
He got in the car and he put it in between us.
Just a second. So you saw the gun that was there?
Yeah.
You saw it there?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make you uncomfortable?
I did. It did make me uncomfortable.
Why did you go to the party with him?
I don't know, weird. I was just in the moment. We're all having fun. We're just friends. I went to the party. I told him the gun makes me uncomfortable.
Then you shouldn't have gotten into the car.
Okay.
You shouldn't have gotten into the car.
Your Honor, he says he has a license for the gun. I figured he wouldn't be an idiot. He told me that he can't conceal it. He said it has to be shown.
No, my
just
dear,
in case
let me tell you something. How many other people at the party that you were out and walking? No. Listen to my question. How many other people at the party that you saw were walking around with a gun on their hip?
No one else.
No one else.
This guy.
No one else. How many times have you gotten into a car with a friend, male or female, where they put a gun on the console?
This is the first time, Your Honor.
And you go to college?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then you don't get into the car?
Your Honor, I just trusted him. He said he had a license. He knows how to use it. I said to him, I'm uncomfortable. The whole T, moved it. And then, oh my gosh, I was an idiot for trusting him, but I did tell him I was uncomfortable with it. He assured me he knew how to use it.
Being uncomfortable with it is not action. Mm-hmm. Being uncomfortable with it says, I'm not getting into a car with you or your gun.
Okay. All right.
Easy.
It's true. That's true. But he was all, this place, trust me, we needed him. Then I'm like, why are we going to a place that you need a gun? Nobody else has a gun. I don't understand.
Right, that for sure wouldn't have gotten into a car.
Nobody else has a gun. He's like, he has to have it shown.
Did you get a new windshield?
Pardon me?
Did you get a new windshield?
Yeah, I did.
Good. That's what you get.
No.
That's what you get. He paid for the windshield?
Your Honor, yeah, but then he agreed to pay for everything else, though.
You take care of the dashboard.
But he agreed to pay for it. I'm going to show you. He has text messages of agreeing to paying for it. Your Honor, he has text messages agreeing to pay for it.
She's a liar. I mean, it came out in court.
Oh my gosh, he texted me saying he's gonna pay for it.
I never texted her. I haven't talked to her since January.
He caught the bullet back, forgetting that he caught the bullet back.
She grabbed it, like I said in court.
To prove to me that he didn't do it.
It's all how you handle it. And that day, I just made the wrong decision.
He pulled the trigger like a jack.
They just started panicking, which, I mean, we all started panicking. It was scary.
Exactly what she said happened is everything that happened.
Luckily, it didn't hit anyone, but we all need to take it as like a lesson learned.
As a matter of fact, when he shot the bullet and it went through the dashboard, the shot hit me in my leg.
Don't carry a weapon around at the wrong time.
8-year-old administrative assistant Janine Barnard is suing her twin sister, administrative assistant Jennifer Barnard, for unpaid loans, forgery, and for an outstanding cell phone bill.
All rise. Now, this is case number 180 on the calendar in the matter of Barnard versus Barnard. Has been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Twin sisters that don't get along. That's what we have here. Have you always not gotten along?
No.
When did you stop getting along?
Well, when she got back from Puerto Rico.
Listen, I don't know when that was.
2 months ago.
So prior to 2 months ago, you got along just fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
So for 30 years, you got along?
No. No, we didn't get along. We fought before because this has happened in the past before.
What's your first name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Which one of you came out of the womb first?
Me. She did.
And your name?
Janine.
Janine. So Janine is your older sister?
Yes.
How many minutes?
By 12 minutes.
Have either of you ever been married?
No.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an administrative assistant.
And you?
Administrative assistant.
Do you work at the same place?
No.
And you don't live together?
No. No, we do
This
not.
is your boyfriend?
Yes.
What does he do for a living?
He's a labor worker.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Yep.
What does he do?
He's not working right now. He's injured.
What's the nature of his injury?
He has a bad knee right now.
So you're supporting the household?
No, I live at home. She's lying. She's paying his rent. She lives.
That's her business. Who do you live with?
My parents.
And you don't?
No.
You live with a boyfriend?
Yes. I've lived on my own for 9 years.
Okay. So now we have a little bit of the background. We have twins, the older twin by 12 minutes?
Yes.
And your kid sister?
That's correct.
According to your complaint, you loaned your kid's sister $300 because she was behind in rent.
I loaned her $180 for the rent itself.
And what was the other money for?
Money that I just lent to her for food, for sneakers, for clothing, because...
Was it all at one time that you lent her this money?
No, it was not at all at one time, no.
Over what period of time did you give her this $300?
I'd say probably over, it was a 4-month period.
Miss Barnard?
Yes.
Forget it. Did you give her one large lump sum of money?
I gave her $180 so she could move out of her apartment. No, I paid that, and the only person that helped me move was my brother, and it was on his credit card.
Just a second. She says she gave you $180. You're saying that that's not true?
Yes, that's not true.
When did you move?
I moved in February.
Tell me about when your sister asked you for this loan.
Well, she was trying to move. She owed back rent, so I lent her the money so she could get the money. Then I rented a U-Haul on the 16th for her so she could move.
Just a second. Is this $180 that you gave her in cash, or is that including...
It was cash because I didn't know I would have to give a money order to my sister to have her pay me back.
Do you have any proof that on or around the 16th of February you took $180 out of a bank or out of a credit card or from an ATM?
Yes, yeah.
Let me see it.
I don't have my bank statement on me. I go to the ATM and withdraw money out. I don't have it on me right this second. But
the second is what counts.
I understand that.
All right. Now I want you to tell me about the other part of your lawsuit, which has to do with a cell phone or a phone bill that you say you had absolutely nothing to do with.
Yeah. Back in a few months ago, I went to try to purchase a cell phone, and they said that I owe them $319.27 from the prior. Yep, the phone company.
And did you say, I don't have this phone number?
Yeah, I didn't have any recollection of it at all. I told them it wasn't me, and I had to look into it and call the fraud department at the phone company to research it.
And what happened when you researched it? What did you
I researched it. I asked them for a copy of the agreement that was signed to get the phone, and I have it right here. This was in 1994, 10 years ago. And I have no recollection of it. I didn't sign anything.
Recollection.
I didn't sign it, excuse me, recollection. And it's clearly that the signature, the A's above, the A's on the printing above is different from the A in the signature print next to the signature. The A's are clearly different.
This is from 1994. This is actually 10 years ago. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, well, because I tried to get a cell phone, and they said that I have to owe the money. I actually got copies of the bills stating the forwarding address from the Quincy address to a Mattapan address, which is her boyfriend, Maurice Sherman Hines.
This is Maurice?
Yes, it is.
Maurice, stand up here a second. Your girlfriend is Jennifer, is that right?
Yes.
Did Jennifer ever get you a cell phone?
No.
Did Janine ever get you a cell phone?
Yes.
When did Janine get you a cell phone?
It was about 10 years ago.
She says that $319 is owed from an old phone. Clearly the phone that you say she got for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you acknowledge that this phone was the phone that the plaintiff bought for you in 1994, and you owe on that phone $319.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So why don't you pay it?
Haven't had no money to pay it, and she just brought it up to me a couple of weeks ago.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Labor Ready.
Labor Ready?
Yes.
That means that you go...
And do hard work.
You live together?
No.
Do you have children?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
One.
With whom?
Jennifer.
You had to think about that? Is this Jennifer or another Jennifer?
This is Jennifer right here.
This Jennifer?
Yes.
How old is this child that you have with Jennifer?
9.
Oh. Costa Rica. Do you know that I've heard good things about Costa Rica? That they have a very large American population in Costa Rica. Let's go back for a second. You've been together 10 years. You have a 9-year-old child. Is there any reason why you're not married?
Never thought about it.
What?
Never thought about it.
Never thought about it. You have a mother and father,
Yes.
Jennifer?
Mm-hmm.
How long have they been married?
Still married.
Well, not still married. How long is a number?
God, like 50 years.
50 years?
Maybe 45 years.
So that you know about the concept of marriage.
Yes. And I don't want to get married right now.
What?
Why? I just don't want to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That might
That's
be
a big commitment. I'm not...
No, well, certainly.
I mean...
Certainly, just a sec. Bird, please, Bird. Bird, certainly, having a child is more like getting a pet goldfish. That is not a commitment. But getting married certainly is a commitment that one wouldn't want to think about after 9 years of, or 10 years of living together.
You have a point.
How long have we been doing this?
How long have we been doing this? A long time, 25 years.
And how many times have we heard, I'm not ready for a commitment?
I'm not ready for a commitment, you know, and when the kid is graduating from elementary school, maybe we'll think about the commitment of marriage.
College, maybe.
College, maybe.
We've been together off and on, not
Costa Rica, maybe.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And later today...
She saw a ring that she liked, and she said, I really like that ring. Would you buy it for me? And you said, I'll only buy it for you if you really love me. And she said, I really love you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janine Barnard says her twin sister, Jennifer Barnard, used her information to set up a cell phone account.
You've had 10 years to pay the $319. So let me explain this to you, Miss Jennifer. Mr. Wonderful over here may not be prepared to make a commitment, and you may not be prepared to make a commitment to each other, even for the sake of your child. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's your business. I can't clear up the world one case at a time. But I can tell you this. You are going to pay that $319 for the phone bill that you owe. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
And if you don't want to pay, Jennifer is going to pay it to her on your behalf. And then Jennifer can get the money back from you. We understand each other, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
That doesn't sound unreasonable, does it?
No, not at all.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $319. Get out of here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I agreed with what Judge Judy said.
It's bogus. It's 10 years old.
He just didn't know that he owed the money, and she could have just asked him out for it.
And she brought the phone for me out of the kindness of her heart.
Because she's money hungry and she just wants money.
So why should I give her money for a present that she gave me?
I don't have a future relationship with my sister.
Ernest Boer is suing his neighbor, Christine Reese, for medical bills and property damage after her dog attacked him.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 21 on, case number 121 on the calendar in the matter of Boer versus Reese.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Mr. Boer, the defendant's dog bit you.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to be compensated for that?
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant suggests that it's your fault. Where did this happen?
It happened March 7th at 12:05 p.m.
And what were you doing?
I was walking my little beagle hound around the corner from where I've lived for 40 years.
And how long have you had the beagle?
About 2 years.
Do you know how long the defendant's been living in her house?
I used to know the guy that lived there. He was a good lifelong friend of mine, and he died a couple years ago. So I'd say probably maybe 2.5 years.
Is that right, Miss Reese?
No, not at all.
How long have you been living there?
It'll be a year this August.
And how many dogs do you have?
2.
What kind are they?
I have a red miniature Doberman Pinscher and a black lab mix.
How big is the black lab?
About 70 pounds.
Is that the one that bit you?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is that dog?
Almost 2 years old.
Dog was in your fenced yard?
Yes, ma'am.
How could it bite the defendant if it was in your fenced yard?
Because he stood at the end of my driveway like he's done on several times with his little dog, taunting them.
How could he bite him if he was in your fenced yard?
He cleared the fence and went after him.
Your dog jumped over the fence?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times in the past has your dog jumped the fence?
Never.
Was the fence installed by you?
No, ma'am, it came with the house. I have a steel locking cable on it and a sign that says beware of dog. I also have a sign on my front porch that says no trespassing.
Well, you're not suggesting that Mr. Boer was on your porch?
No, not at all. But I've had to, when I last August, I acquired the house on the 12th. And a few days after that, approximately around the 19th, Mr. Boer here was in my front yard to the left. There's a big tree, and he was doing drugs. And I asked him to stay away from my property. Several times I've had to ask him to stay away from my property.
I want you to tell me exactly, Miss Reese, what you claim he was doing standing near your tree. And I want you to tell me so that a person of my limited intellect will believe you.
He had a pipe in his hand, a little silver pipe approximately 2 inches long with a lighter, and he was smoking it.
You're hotter. I don't do drugs.
Mr. Boer, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm trying to figure out who she is. Are you still employed, sir?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a machinist.
Do you work for someone?
Yes, I work for On-Site Welding Company. We do machining, fabrication.
And how long have you worked for them?
17 years.
Who is this lady?
This is my mom.
Does she live in the house?
Yes.
How many people live in your house?
2.
Just you and your mother?
Yes.
What do you do for a living, Miss Reese?
I clean houses.
For your own company?
For myself, yes, independently.
And who else lives in your house with you?
My 3 daughters, my fiance, my father, and my 18-year-old brother, who I've had for a few years now.
And how big is the house?
It's 2 bedrooms on the main level, loft, and a refurbished basement.
You have a picture of your dog?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Would you like all of them? I have several of the house and the dog.
I could look at it.
There you go.
What is this supposed to show me?
That's a picture of his teeth.
Okay. Now, tell me what happened on March 4th, Mr. Boer, as you were walking your beagle.
I was walking my little beagle up the hill.
But don't look down there.
Okay.
Look
all of a
over
sudden, I seen the dog jump the fence to come after my dog. It was going to try to kill it, so I scooped her up in my arms, and all I could do was hold her. The dog tore my coat right here and tried to jerk me down. It snipped me 3 times on this leg, and finally it sunk its teeth, which I have pictures, and I have a police report, and also I have a report from the health department that the dog never even had its rabies shots, never had a collar, never had nothing.
Can I see first the photographs, then the police report, and then the report from the health department?
Police report. Health department. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1 And by the way, the dog, to my knowledge, is half pit bull and half chow. I actually know some people that she got the dog from.
Listen to me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't give me hearsay information.
Okay.
Unless you have proof that that's the kind of dog it is.
I have proof of what kind of dog it is, Your Honor.
From the place you bought it? Or the
No,
place
I rescued the dog. The people on the house I used to live in, they were abusing him, trying to make him fight, and I took the dog myself.
You said you had proof what kind of dog it is.
I took him to a vet.
And they did a DNA test on him?
I don't know about that. I know they classified him as a black Labrador Retriever mix.
Okay, good. How long have you had him?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. Did you show the police the shot records for your dog?
I did.
Oh, the police report says that all shots appear to be up to date, but the Norwood City Health Department indicates that the dog is being quarantined because the shots were not up to date with rabies.
It's a standard procedure to quarantine all
I'm
dogs.
just telling you what it says.
Yes, ma'am. It was the time for me to go and get him his new shots.
So the answer is it wasn't up to date.
No,
which is why
he was due 3 days after this incident, and I couldn't take him because they quarantined him. I had to wait for the quarantine to be over.
Who was home when this incident took place?
Myself, my 3 daughters, my daughter's boyfriend.
Were you at home?
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up. Tell me your name.
Charlotte Rook.
How old are you?
17.
Go to school?
I just graduated.
What are you doing now?
I am working currently at Wendy's in Norwood. I plan to attend school in the fall.
Okay. Do you remember the 7th of March?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing at around 4 o'clock?
Around 4, I was at home just hanging out.
Hanging out where?
In my living room.
Were you hanging out with anybody else?
My boyfriend and my sisters.
Was the television on? Music on?
The TV was on, but we weren't really paying it any attention.
Did you hear your dog barking outside?
I didn't hear my dog barking. I heard my mom scream.
Just a second. Just answer my questions.
Okay.
Did you hear your dog barking?
No, ma'am.
Is the living room, I have the pictures of your house, in the front or the back of the house?
It's in the front.
And this attack took place in the front of the house?
Yeah.
And you heard no dog barking?
No, I didn't hear him barking.
Did you hear anything from the front of the house?
I heard my mom scream.
Where was she when you heard her scream?
She was running outside to grab our dogs.
What was she screaming?
She screamed, "Oh, Charlotte." I'm sorry,
No,
that's what she
said. Perfect.
Not acceptable.
Perfect. Say nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you weren't in the front, unless your daughter's a liar.
No.
So which one is it? Is your daughter a liar, or you were not in the front when you heard the commotion?
And later today,
There is something wrong with you. I don't know whether you're just dense or whether you figure I got to make up a good story so that I have a defense. I really don't know. I mean, if you believe it, then you're dense.
says neighbor Christine Reese owes for medical bills and property damage due to a dog attack.
Okay. And she ran out?
Yes.
Through the living room, through the front door?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do next?
I ran outside. Me, my sisters, and my boyfriend all ran outside.
And I just want you to tell me what you saw.
What I saw, okay.
When you got outside.
When I got outside,
Don't look over there. Look over here.
The Ernest right here, he was running down the street. He wouldn't show us any bite marks.
No, not what he wouldn't show. I just want you to tell me.
He was going down the street screaming that he was going to come back and shoot my dogs. Me, my mom, and my sisters and my boyfriend were standing there.
No. Just listen to what I asked you. I didn't ask you who was standing there. I just want you to answer my questions. You ran outside and you saw the plaintiff running down the street.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what you saw. And what did you hear him say?
I heard him saying he would be back to shoot my dogs.
Where was the little dog?
With him.
No, your little dog.
My little dog, he was outside too. He squeezed through the gate. He was little enough too.
So both of your dogs were out?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can sit down.
Okay.
And where were you
when it all happened?
Yes.
I was actually standing looking out my front window because I have a plant.
No. Is your daughter a liar?
No.
You ran through the house, through where she was sitting with a boyfriend and everybody else, and ran outside. So
Yes,
you weren't
ma'am,
in the
I did.
front. You were not in the front, unless your daughter's a liar.
No.
So which one is it? Is your daughter a liar, or you were not in the front when you heard the commotion?
Well,
Don't look over there.
I see
Look over
him
here.
through my front window standing out front is the reason I ran out the door. Because he's done it before with his dog, and that's why I ran.
Miss Reese, you're not telling me the truth.
I am telling you the truth.
No, you're not. You want to know why? Because what you say here is he was taunting your dogs. Now, you weren't in the front. She was in the front of the house and wasn't paying attention to a TV that was on, just hanging out. And what you say, which I didn't believe, is that he was standing there and screaming at your dogs, "Get him, boy, get him, boy." That's what you say. That's
was.
No, baloney. That's not what she says. The first thing she heard was you running through the house, running outside, and screaming just 2 words. That she heard. She didn't hear anything else. She didn't hear him standing there with his dog. And you'd have to be a lunatic to stand there with your dog provoking something to happen, to get injured. Your dog got out. The fence wasn't strong enough for either one of your dogs, either for the big one or for the little one. You choose to have a big dog, you better make darn sure that that dog's not in a situation where it can hurt anybody. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
As far as me being a troublemaker in my city,
I will go and get a restraining order for him not to be anywhere near my home.
no, they're wrong.
Because he still continues to come by.
No, I'll carry my steel pipe with me next time their dog comes around.
But he's yet terrified of my dog.
It might get hit.
Gretch versus Garrett. Step forward, please.
50-year-old store manager Deborah Gretch is suing her son, 26-year-old construction worker Troy Gerrits, for an unpaid loan. Troy says the loan should be offset because his 18-year-old brother ran up his cable bill by renting movies.
All right, I believe that there are certain things that we can agree upon in this case, so it will simplify the issue. Mrs. Gretch, the defendant is your son.
Yes.
Who is 26 years old?
Yes.
According to your complaint, there came a time when he fell behind in some bills, he wanted to consolidate his bills, and you agreed to loan him $6,000, $6,000 some odd dollars. And you acknowledged that that loan was made to you.
Yes.
He did repay some of the loan for a considerable period of time. The balance on the loan is some $4,400.
Right.
And you acknowledge that the balance of the loan is some $4,400. Is that right?
Yes.
But you have a defense.
Yes.
Your defense is that your brother, your other son, 17, moved in with you.
Yes.
And ran up a huge cable bill.
Yes.
The amount of $3,500.
Yes.
That you believe is your mother's responsibility, that you want to deduct from the loan.
Yes.
Okay, that's your defense. Now, was your 17-year-old living with you before he moved in with his brother?
Yes. But he moved in with his brother and his dad.
His brother and his father?
Mm-hmm.
Do you live with your father?
Not no more.
But you did?
Yep, and my grandparents.
And when did he move in with you?
1999. I don't know quite which month it was. January.
And when did he start running up this cable bill?
As soon as he moved in.
How do you know that?
Well, he's the only one that was in the room renting the movies.
So he was renting the movies from?
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view movies.
Is that right?
Yes.
Who got the first bill?
I get all the bills.
So when you got your February bill and you saw all these bills on there, what did you do about it?
Put a lock code on it. He figured that out, so I disconnected it from the phone. And then the bills don't come, not unless it's hooked up to the phone. Once I hook the phone up, I get this large amount of bill. For
just a minute. He could not have run up a $3,500 cable bill in 1 month.
No, it wasn't. It was over a year, year and a half, I believe.
Well, then that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility.
For me to pay for him?
He's living under your control in your home. You say you got all the bills, so you were in control of all the bills, Mr. Gerrits.
Yes.
It was your responsibility to see to it that an appropriate mechanism was put in place so that he could not rent any more of these movies after you saw that he was abusing the privilege after the first month.
I'll let him explain what he did through all this, renting the movies and everything, that I feel that she should have to pay me because he was a minor. No matter what, if he was, if he was living with her or not.
Just a minute. When did your father move out?
My father never moved out.
So what about your father?
He doesn't have a job, no nothing. So what am I supposed to do, support him too?
No, sir. What you're supposed to do is if you can't get your brother to stop renting pay-per-views that you are responsible for, you kick him out of the house.
He wasn't 18.
So you're not responsible for him, sir, to keep him in your house? Kick him out.
How would you feel about kicking your own son out at 15, 16 years old?
Just a minute. He's not your son. Kick him out.
He's my brother, though.
Then pay his bills. If you can't figure out a way to control him, pay his bills. Don't say, I'm not going to pay his bills. I'm going to pay this, and I'm going to deduct it from what I owe my mother. What kind of stupidity is that?
To get the money out of her.
No. You elected to take your brother into your house. Evidently, he chose not to live with his mother. He chose to live in your house with your unemployed father.
I do not own the house. He moved in with my father and my grandparents, and I was living there, and he was living there with them.
But evidently, the cable bill was in your name.
Okay, the cable bill's in my name,
Then
but
you
who
have
should
to
take care of it?
Just a second. Cut it off.
I did cut it off finally after I got that bill that had a large amount on it.
You should have cut it off immediately when you saw he was doing it. Immediately. That was your responsibility. It was wrong. He's a minor. But as a result of your negligence and not seeing to it that his conduct was monitored while in your home, you can't visit that on your mother. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,400. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He's a minor. She should still have to pay for him.
I couldn't govern what he was doing. I thought his dad should take responsibility for it.
My judgment is right. I believe I am right and she
is suing his ex-boyfriend, 21-year-old salesman Dan Merovitz, for unpaid credit card charges and a trip to Europe.
According to your complaint, you and the defendant met on the internet sometime last year. Is that right?
Yes.
And began a relationship that lasted for how long?
About 8 months.
Did you live together during that period?
Most of it, yes.
It is your claim that during the time that you lived together, you made certain loans to the defendant. Loans that were made by virtue of your credit card?
Yes.
Some cellular phone expenses, and the cost of his share of a trip to Europe that you took together, that you claim that he promised to pay you for, but never did.
Correct.
The defendant says that all of these expenses were gifts. While he acknowledges the expenses, that he made certain charges, he said that they were all gifts from you made during the course of a relationship. So that's where we're at. When did you and the defendant begin living together?
May of last year.
When did you give him access to your credit card?
Maybe 2 months after that. He was getting a promotion and he needed it to keep his job.
What do you mean he needed it to keep his job?
With his promotion, he had more responsibility. He had to entertain, he had to travel, and without that, he probably wouldn't have been able to keep his job.
Did you get him his own credit card, or did you give him yours?
It was basically a partner card off of my account with his name.
So far, is it correct that you had a partner card of the plaintiffs starting in about July of 2000?
Yeah.
Now, when you got the bill, let's say in September, and you were still together in September of 2000, who paid his portion of the bill?
As Dan would get company funds back to him on his expense checks, he would either write a check out to me or just reimburse me in one way or another with money.
Is that correct?
For the most part, yeah.
What about October? Do the same thing?
As he would be paid by his company, he would pay me back.
So far, is that correct, sir?
Voluntarily, yeah.
I love it. You would pay him back.
Right.
Now, you separated according to this sometime in November?
That sounds correct, yes.
At the time you separated, what was the balance on his card?
At that time, it was probably around...
Don't give me a probably around. Courts don't deal with probably around. Where's the paperwork? Don't give me a whole lot of paperwork to look through. Make it easy for me.
It's a quarterly expense report. It has everything.
Just make a little check mark with regard to where his expenses were on his card.
Every single one. It's just his side of it. It's not mine or not included.
I thought I was going to get him to do this for me. Did you do a lot of traveling for your business, sir? Stayed at the Radisson in Sarasota. Good deal? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
There is no question in my mind, based upon my examination of the defendant, that he treated this money as a loan. Despite the fact that he claims in his answer that it was a gift, he treated it as a loan because, according to him, he made payments. He made payments in September, he made payments in October. Isn't that what you just said to me? Well, even though you said voluntarily.
Right. But none of it was an agreement throughout the month.
Listen to me. Baloney. If you made payments, that is indicia that you treated your credit card as a second holder for your company expenses. Many of these, the most substantial of these, are company expenses. You treated them as a loan because you paid him back. There came a time when you stopped paying on the credit card. On what day did you stop paying on the credit card, sir?
I think when I left, when we split.
Why?
Tom gave these things to me. I voluntarily gave him the checks on a month-to-month basis.
All right, let me ask you this question, Mr. Meyerowitz.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you honestly believe that Mr. Long, had you not paid him back as you got these checks for reimbursement from your company, would have continued to allow you to use the credit card?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. There were many
Well, why
threats
would you
throughout the whole
think,
time.
Mr. Meyerowitz, not only were you getting substantial monies back from your company, you expect him to pay the bill and you get reimbursed and you put the money in your pocket so that you get extra money. Is that what you're telling me? And that the money that he advanced you on his credit card is sort of like additional salary to you.
Right.
Is that what you're claiming? Is that what you're claiming? I just want to know your position. That he was giving you this money and he was saying to you, you can keep the checks that you get from the company to cover your cell phone and your hotels and your meals and your client entertaining. You keep that because I want you to have that extra money. That's what your position is.
Right. I'm not.
Oh, I'm getting too old for this. Wrong. All right, now let's deal with the trip to Europe. Let me hear about the trip to Europe.
Well, I had a lot of Sky Miles points, and I had told Dan if he paid $500 worth of the entire trip, I would pay for everything else. And he paid about $100.
When did he pay the $100 towards the trip?
Probably on his own credit card when he was paying for a dinner or something.
You mean on your credit card?
No, actually on his own this time.
Oh, it's hard to use your own when you have somebody else's.
I didn't even have my own.
Whatever. Well, what expenses did you actually incur for him in Europe? You used your points to get there.
I have that right here for you.
Okay. These aren't $500 worth of expenses.
There was also cash involved.
I mean, we're talking about a couple of meals, $31, $7.47,
Two plane
$9.99.
Well, it doesn't cost $500 to fly to Europe. It costs considerably more.
You used your points.
But I had to pay for some of it also.
Where is
I only
that?
had so many points.
Where? Show me where.
I don't have that right now.
Well,
It
now
was
is the time to
very-
have it. We don't have it later. Later is no good. We can't do approximates, okay? So I am deducting that from your total claim, leaving a balance of $2,439.
Actually, I have checks which are on a canceled account, and I also have...
So what does that have to do with anything? I am awarding you everything except the travel expenses. So what difference does it make if you've got canceled checks? I do not believe, Mr. Meyerowitz,
Because it actually
that this
cost
was
me $2,800 and whatever the $330, or it cost me that amount of money.
I've just looked at this. This doesn't come to $400. And even if it did come to $400, the expenses for going out to eat, et cetera, have to be cut in half because you ate too, I assume. You didn't
Correct.
say, you go eat and I'm going to go eat. Don't
That was
push your luck,
really a
Mr.
cheap
Long.
trip to Europe.
He is responsible for all of his expenses that he made on the credit card. I find that they were not gifts. I find that his payments were not voluntary. I find that he agreed to pay you for those, and that he did in fact pay you for some until the relationship terminated. So I am awarding you that part of your claim, which is $2,439. I am not awarding you the money for the trip. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Tom lied about the trip. That was That was a gift. That was something that he surprised me with.
Maybe he'll grow up out of the whole thing.
He moved me in. He took care of me. He wanted to play a sugar daddy per se.
Of course, you have to have money to be a sugar daddy. I'm just a poor lawn man.
I'm sticking to what I thought it was.
He should have paid me 12 payments of $200.
Is suing his son's ex-girlfriend, 20-year-old college student Christina Taylor, for the return of furniture.
Mr. Mullen, I assume that this young man over here is your son. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
The defendant is his former girlfriend. Correct. According to your complaint, there came a time recently when they decided to move in together. You purchased some furniture and gave them some furniture for their apartment. They subsequently broke up, and you want your stuff back. Is that what this is about?
That's close, Your Honor. I don't want furniture back any longer. I've attempted for over 7 months now to get this furniture back, and I had a son moving out in September going away to college, and he needed some furniture, so I ended up purchasing some new furniture for him. This furniture that she has would just be sitting in the garage now.
So you want money from her?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, let's see. Why don't you step up here, young man? Your name is?
Dan Mullen.
Dan.
Mm-hmm.
When did you move in with Miss Taylor?
June of 2000.
You moved in together to an apartment that you leased together, or you moved in to her apartment?
That we leased together. We both moved in June.
And what was your share of the rent?
$360, I believe.
Your Honor, it was $260.
Well, clearly if he had paid it, he would have known what the amount was. $260. That was your share.
Yeah.
And how long was the lease?
12 months, June to June.
When did you move out?
November.
Did she ask you to leave?
No. I moved back on my own.
Why did you do that?
I wasn't happy in the city. I wasn't happy living there, so I decided to leave.
And from November until June, I assume that you paid her your half of the rent.
I paid the landlord, Your Honor, and for the rest of the lease. And,
you paid?
I paid.
Now, when your son moved into the apartment, tell me about the furniture that you purchased.
We purchased him a new bed, a new kitchen table and 2 chairs and 2 end tables, and we gave him a TV and a stereo from the house.
Why didn't you take this property with you if you thought it was your property?
At the time, I didn't have a place to store it. She needed a bed. I just wanted to just cut all ties, and then when she would come back from school, then I'd go pick it up. I'd let the rest of the roommates use the furniture, because there was a kitchen table. They wouldn't have a kitchen table. So I just wanted them to have some furniture, I guess.
What do you mean, you guess? You just left?
Yeah.
And when you came home without the furniture, did you have a conversation with your father?
Yes. I told them I was going to let them have the furniture until the end of the year, and then I'd go pick it up.
And what did he say to you?
He said, well, make sure you get the furniture back.
When for the first time did you ask her for the furniture back, sir?
I believe Dan asked her for it back in May and made arrangements for us to go down there in May or in June, and that's when we started to get the waltz around the mulberry bush, you know, that she'd be there next week or the week after she was going on vacation. Then I think my wife took over in August and started calling Christina, and Christina started stating that she had some bills that Dan needed to get taken care of, and my wife asked her what they were, and she said she'd send us copies of them, and she's never, to date, she has not done any of that.
Now, Miss Taylor, this furniture that was brought in by Dan, did you view that as his furniture?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why didn't you return it? He let you keep it until the end of the school year. Why didn't you return it?
Well, the reason he did not take his furniture when he left was because it was a common understanding that he owed me money for a trip to Acapulco, a weekend trip in the Dells, cash payment for bail, and bills. And I have
did you owe her any
evidence
money,
of all
sir?
this.
I always said that I'd pay her $250. That's what I...
Did you owe her any money when you left?
$250. Yes.
Did you pay her?
No, I offered to pay her on several occasions. When I was going to go down and pick up the furniture, I told her I'd come down with a check for $250.
Well, you said $250. She seems to think it's a lot more than $250.
Much more than $250.
Yeah, I paid for the trip to Acapulco on my half. I paid for that. We decided that we'd take a trip to the Wisconsin Dells, and she would pay for my half of the way, and I'd pay her back $250.
Okay, and he hasn't?
Correct.
What did you do with the furniture?
The furniture is still at the apartment.
So what you're saying is you were holding this furniture as collateral.
Correct. And he said I could do so when he moved out. He said, keep it here until I can pay you back everything that I owe you.
Mr. Mullen, you gave this furniture to your son, is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
It was a gift.
No, it was not. I was loaning it to him.
No, that's not true, sir. That's not true. Mr. Mullen, you gave the furniture to your son. You had no contract with her. You had no agreement with the defendant. What you had is an arrangement with your son. I am giving you furniture. Were you in school?
Yes.
You were in college. You did what every other parent does. They furnished the apartment, right? This
That's
was
correct.
not a loan to him. You made him a gift. So let's look at the law of gift. Your son left this furniture there as collateral for bills that he owed the defendant. It was his furniture to do whatever he wanted to do with. He could give it away, he could sell it, he could do whatever he wanted with it. He chose to leave it as collateral for money that he owed. And I'm not getting into the amount of money that he owed, because clearly there's a discrepancy, but he says he at least owes $250, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which he hasn't paid.
I offered to pay it on several occasions.
I don't care. You're not part of this lawsuit, except you really should be, because if your father made you a gift, then your father really has no interest in this furniture anymore. It's really your furniture.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It was a gift, Mr. Mullen. You know it was a gift, and I know it was a gift. You gave your son other furniture when your other child moved away and went to college?
That's correct.
Did you have him sign a contract that he would get this
I did
furniture
not.
back?
No, I did not.
And I assume that if he has a little bit of a party there and the furniture gets damaged and the furniture gets stained from beer bottles and et cetera, you're not going to sue him, are you? No, because it was a gift. So you got to deal with your boy. Your boy's got to take care of his property. Can't be a fool. If when he moved out a year ago, he wanted his property back, what he does is he says, I'm going back home, I'm going to take property and I'm going to store it in my father's garage. Or I have a brother who's going to be going away to college and he's going to need the furniture, I take it with me. That's what a responsible person does. Because I think that there's some truth in what she says, that you said, well, keep the furniture there until I pay you what I owe you. Right?
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Yes, I agreed with you.
Oh, fine. Well, that's not okay. That's yes. That's what I said. So you haven't paid her back what you owe her. This was your gift. It's your property. When you pay her, she'll give you back the furniture. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We're going to get our furniture back. I'm going to pay her the money that I owe her, which is $250. Cut and dry. Settled.
It's a shame that Dan wasn't old enough and mature enough to take care of this on his own. I think it could have been handled a little bit better.
Too bad it has to come to this. You young kids.
If you're 19 years old, do not...
Computer systems analyst Hannah Lee is suing ex-boyfriend, 31-year-old computer engineer Ezra Blanche, for the return of a karaoke machine and other household items.
Order. All rise. This is case number 446 on the calendar in the matter of Lee versus Blanche. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Ms. Lee, according to your complaint, you and the defendant had a long-distance relationship. You lived several hours away from each other, and you were in this relationship for a couple of years.
2 years. That's correct.
That's a couple.
Yes.
And you indicate in your complaint that while you were together, you would bring some of your property over there because you spent so much time there.
Exactly.
The relationship terminated, and you want your property back.
Correct.
The defendant says that you did bring some things to his house, and the things that you brought to his house were gifts. In addition to being gifts, he talks about money being taken off for vandalism and other nonsense. So we'll get to it in a minute. When did you start this relationship?
Mid-August of 1999.
And where were you living?
Portland, Oregon.
And where was the defendant living?
Tukwila, Washington.
How far is that?
180 miles.
And how often would you visit him?
Every single weekend.
So far, is that correct?
That's correct.
And when did you start to bring property to the house?
I wanted him to learn how to go to karaoke bars with me, and he wasn't comfortable with that. So I said, well, why don't I buy a karaoke machine and some CDGs? It's a very expensive system and microphones. And he already had a stereo system. And since we spent so much time there, that's the first time I bought that.
So you brought it to the house?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's one of the items that you want back, the karaoke system.
Correct.
What else did you bring there?
DVD player.
What would you bring a DVD player?
Don't.
Sorry, Your Honor.
A DVD player. Well, tell me about that. Tell me how that came about.
Adam wanted to have a system downstairs. He bought a 65-inch TV downstairs with a DVD player. But then I said, well, I like to be upstairs because it's cold downstairs. And he says, well, we don't have a DVD player upstairs. So I said, all right, I'll go buy one.
Okay.
Just like that.
So you went and you bought one?
At Costco. I have the receipt.
And you brought it to the house?
I did, because I'm always there. Sorry. Sorry. I'm nervous.
Don't be silly. Be
sorry.
nervous, but don't be silly.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Good. Okay, so you brought the DVD player over there so that you could use it upstairs because you were cold downstairs?
Yes, correct.
What else?
I have a list. Do you want me to show it to you?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, it's organized by level of importance.
No.
I'm sorry.
Listen to
I'm
me.
sorry.
Listen to me very carefully.
Okay.
I want you to tell me what things are yours.
They're all
back
mine.
a list.
Everything on this list is mine.
Go, read it.
Okay, the CDG collection.
Slowly.
$1,500, a CDG player, $300, a DVD player, $245, a set of microphone cables and stand, $150, office furniture at Costco, $399.
She's been paid for these things.
Shh.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Now let's get to the office furniture.
Yes?
What kind of office furniture?
It's a set because he had an office room. I didn't really like his office set, so I said, let's just go get a new one because I really liked him. I thought we were going to spend...
Strike that. Listen to me.
Okay.
Strike that off your list. If you say, you have a set, I really don't like it, I'm going to get a new set.
No, he wanted a new set.
Or he wanted a new set, and you said, I'll go get it. Go ahead. What's next?
Domestic stuff from Costco. We furnished his kitchen, and I furnished his bedroom set. Comforters, pillows, yada, yada, yada. And I know you don't really... And then bathroom stuff. And then I also got him a tent for his car.
A what?
A tent for his car, which he traded in.
I'm curious. How did the tent come about?
He said that he can't drive a car without a tent.
Shh, please.
So he wanted one, so I got it for him.
Good. That's nice. That's a gift. Next.
And all the other furniture that I bought was like a dry erase board, I had 5 wall frames that I bought at an auction.
Well, what'd you bring them there for?
Because I moved out of my condo and I didn't have room for it, and he said he'll hold it for me.
Oh, really? Those things I want to hear about. What was that he said he would hold for you?
Well, because I didn't have room in my...
Tell me what it was that he said he would hold.
It's like a dry erase board. Well,
a what?
The dry erase board is like a large one that you can write on. It's mahogany. It's really pretty.
I don't understand what that is.
Did you say dry erase board?
It's a dry erase board with mahogany sides. You pull it out, and you can it's a dry erase. You write on it.
You have that, sir?
Yes, I do. But I gave her money for that, Your Honor.
He decided how much he wanted to pay me.
She paid $25 for it.
Just a second. He gave you money for it?
He says he did, but he did not give me money for it. He just says, I gave you money, and he decides what it's for. That's the way he does things. Okay.
Let's deal with 2 items.
All right, let's just deal with the...
Let's deal with 2 items. Okay. If you're smart, you don't bring things to somebody else's house until you got a piece of paper that says the state of, where do you come from? Washington recognizes that this person and this person are husband and wife, they live together, anything they have is joint. You want to be a fool and bring over all those things, so that's fine. You want to be a fool and pay for the tinting on his car?
Yes, ma'am.
You do that. But you don't come to court then and say, listen, you have to make me whole because the relationship didn't work out. Otherwise, I would be working 24 hours a day, and I don't like to work so hard.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Hannah Lee says ex-boyfriend Ezra Blanche owes for a karaoke machine, a DVD player, and other household items. Ezra says Hannah forgave the debt when she lost a bet.
Okay, let's deal with the karaoke machine and the DVD player. Let me hear, sir, your rendition of the karaoke machine.
Well, basically, the idea was to go half on the CDGs and things like that. But I didn't want it, I figured if we're going to break up, I don't want to have to deal with having to give it back to her, so I gave her money for these things.
You did? How much money did you give her?
Yes, I gave her $1,200 as payment on a lot of the things.
Let's talk about specifically the karaoke machine.
Okay, and the DVD player. The DVD player was actually a gift. As a matter of fact, that was a Christmas gift. But she's all about money. Basically, okay.
I'm not interested in your editorial comments. Just stick to the facts.
Okay. The fact is that she believes that she can throw money at something.
Listen to me. That's editorial. Do you understand what editorial means?
It's relevant.
I want the facts. When you say to me the DVD player was a Christmas present, that is your determination of a fact.
Okay, there's also
Then I will ask you questions about it. Right now we're on the karaoke machine. You say that you gave her $1,200 towards the karaoke machine and the other stuff that goes with it.
Correct.
Did he give you any money towards it?
He did give me money. However, that money was for the negative equity on his car because he drove a Camaro when I first met him and he couldn't afford it anymore. And so I bailed him out. I had a...
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
It was $7,000 negative equity and he had to get rid of the car because his child support was going up.
So how much did you give him?
I gave him my Tercel. That's $4,500.
You gave him your car?
I traded in my car and I bought a Mazda Miata.
So how did he get any money?
My car was the money. And I said, well, I lost my car in this trade. And he said, I would pay you $100 a month to help with your payments and stuff like that. So I took the $1,200 as part of the money for my car.
Did she help you out with your negative balance on your car?
Basically, she traded her car in on a deal, and I also paid money also.
I don't care about what you paid also. I'm talking about what money came out of her pocket. Are you following me? Did she, in the course of your relationship, help you out by trading in her car, which cost her some money?
It was also for her benefit, Your Honor.
Was it for your benefit?
Both, yes, Your Honor.
How much benefit did you receive from it?
$1,000.
Did you pay her back for that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you paid her back the $1,000 in addition to the $1,200 that you gave her for the karaoke machine?
Based on a bet, Your Honor, yes.
Excuse me?
Based on a bet, Your Honor, yes, and also based on
What do you mean
vandalism.
based on a bet? Explain that to me.
She made a bet, Your Honor, that she would have a six-pack of abs in 30 days.
No, I don't understand. Didn't say a word that you said, sir.
She made a bet, or she made a wager that she could do something within 30 days. When she did not do it in the 30 days, she lost that particular bet.
She lost that bet, and who did she make the bet with?
With me.
So it's not that you paid her the $1,200.
No, I did pay her $1,200, Your Honor.
So what you didn't pay her for was the $1,000 for the car.
Correct, but we never agreed to pay on that.
So what debt was forgiven as a result of this wager that you had?
I have a list, Your Honor.
Of things that were forgiven as a result of the wager?
A list of things that she purchased and I've paid for either with the wager or with services or with vandalism.
Tell me about the vandalism.
Well, basically, she has a very, very nasty temper, and she has a problem with my past.
What did she do?
She put a hole in my wall, she kicked dents in my door, she put holes in my door.
Now, did she do this, and after she did this, you terminated the relationship?
Terminated the relationship several times, Your Honor.
All right, but you didn't terminate the relationship after each of these incidents, finally.
Actually, I did, and then she would always try to throw money back at me.
Whatever, sir. You didn't. She punched a hole in the wall, you had a fight, she left, then she came back. Is that right?
Yes.
And you took her back, right? And she continued to come on weekends.
Correct.
That is what we call forgiving. You forgave those things. You don't come now and say, I sort of charged it off to debts and wagers. Listen, sir, you have a DVD player in your house and a karaoke machine, is that right?
Correct.
Does the karaoke machine work?
Yes.
And all the accoutrements work?
Yes.
And what about the DVD player? Does it work?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Pack it all up, because she's getting it back. Not all this other nonsense. But this she's getting back, because if you have a relationship that doesn't work out, clearly the karaoke machine you say you paid for, I don't believe you paid for it.
What about the damages, Your Honor?
I don't have a counterclaim for damages, sir. You never filed a claim against her for damages, did you?
No, I didn't have a chance to, Your Honor.
Well, chance, that's what we're here for. I don't have a claim. The karaoke machine you said you paid for, and then you did the negative equity in the car you didn't pay for, but then there was a wager, and she said, if I can spin around 4 times with a banana on my nose, then I will pay for it. Whatever the bet was. She lost the bet, so you said, that's baloney. Okay. Relationship is terminated. You have to do the right thing. The right thing is she invested a lot of money in electrical equipment for your house.
The DVD player was a gift, Your Honor.
Does it sound familiar to you that she said, let's put one upstairs because it's too cold downstairs?
Not exactly, Your Honor, no.
Well, what exactly? You said not exactly. Was that a no or a yes?
Well, she told me that I could figure about paying for that because she had done something in the relationship and she wanted to stay.
She said,
You can forget about paying for it because
Right.
I did something wrong.
Correct.
A minute ago, you told me it was a Christmas present.
Well, on top of that, Your Honor.
Well, a minute ago, you told me it was a Christmas present.
Yes, Your Honor.
You see, when you lie, sir, what happens is you usually
Your
trip
Honor.
over your tongue eventually, you know, eventually. You're giving back the DVD player and the karaoke machine. They're going back within 5 days. Pack them up. She will pay for shipping, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Court will prepare an order. Good luck to you both. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It just didn't work out, but I still care about him a lot.
She's got a very nasty temper.
He's a good person.
She likes to get physical and violent.
I wish him the very best.
She needs to grow up.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Melvin versus Melvin, step forward.
Jennifer Melvin is suing her ex-husband, Larry Melvin, for an unpaid loan to buy a semi-truck.
What kind of work do you do, Miss Melvin?
Long-haul truck driver?
No, I'm looking at her. Say nothing. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a driver.
A driver for what?
Truck driver.
How long have you been licensed as a truck driver?
Almost 15 years.
When were you and Mr. Melvin married, and what month and year?
August of 99.
And when were you divorced?
It was legal in...
what year were you divorced?
September of 06.
And when did you last live together?
In 05.
What are the names of your children?
Austin, Riley, Cameron, and I have a 3-year-old, Gavin.
Could you explain something to me? You remember signing this complaint?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you read it? How many children does it say you have?
2 between the 2 of us, but I have 4. You asked me for my children. I'm sorry.
How many children does it say you have?
2.
2. Give it back to me, please. The judgment of divorce states as follows in the first paragraph. The court finds that there are 3 minor children of this marriage, Austin, Riley, and Cameron. Would you explain that to me?
Austin is not biologically Larry's.
The court found that there are 3 minor children of this marriage. You were the plaintiff. You must have filed the papers.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the papers, you wrote that there were 3 children of the marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
You did not contest that divorce.
No,
is
ma'am.
that correct?
That is correct.
So what happened between the divorce and the time you swore to this complaint?
I didn't understand that I should have put Austin in there.
You were a truck driver for 15 years. How long have you been a truck driver, Mr. Melvin?
25.
Did you own trucks together with your wife?
At one point, yes.
What point?
Around 04, we bought a truck. And then again in 2006, end of 2006.
And that was subsequent to your divorce?
Yes.
So you were in business together?
Somewhat, yes.
Don't say somewhat yes. I'm asking you a question. I didn't understand a lot of this case, and I'm going to figure out what's going on here because a lot of it doesn't sound kosher to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
And if something doesn't sound kosher to me and doesn't look kosher to me, it usually is because something's not right. We understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
We understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
So you and your husband and then ex-husband were in business together at the time you co-signed for a loan on a truck that you bought together for business in 2006. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not what you say in your complaint. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There was no child support in your judgment of divorce.
We had
very, very unusual. And it didn't contain child support for a reason. So somebody is going to tell me the reason.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jennifer Melvin says, ex-husband Larry Melvin owes for a loan to buy a semi-truck. Larry is countersuing for the return of the truck in question.
All right, so the first thing that you did is you lied in your complaint, which I don't like, because it didn't sound right to me, didn't smell right to me. You know what you wrote in your complaint.
That I helped him purchase the vehicle.
No. He asked you to help him get a loan for his business. He didn't have good enough credit to do it on his own. Since I wanted him to continue to provide for our 2 children, I agreed to help him get a loan on a semi. But that's not true because you're a truck driver as well, and this was a business that you and your husband were in together.
But the agreement that we had was that
All I'm asking you is you were in business together on this truck. All right, let me put it to you another way. How many people drove that truck?
One.
Who?
Larry.
And what did you get out of it?
Child support.
There was no child support in your judgment of divorce.
We had
very, very unusual. Subsequent to the child support guidelines for a judgment of divorce not to contain child support. And it didn't contain child support for a reason. So somebody is going to tell me the reason, because you're a business lady.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to explain to me so that I understand it, the reason why your judgment of divorce didn't provide for child support, why the two of you purchased a truck that was in whose name?
Both of ours.
In 2006. Both of your names, and the loan was in both of your names, and the truck, according to you, was purchased so that he could continue paying child support that wasn't contained in your divorce judgment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So it wasn't a loan to him, which is really what you're suing for. It was a business venture, and it was all fine in 2006, 2007, 2008, and then what happened?
He quit making the payment on the truck, and I started getting phone calls from the loan company that
Just a second. 2006, 2007, 2008. He was giving you money for the children?
The truck wasn't purchased to 07.
Just a second.
And
I'm asking you a question. In 2006, 2007, and 2008, was he giving you money for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
$500 a month, except for in 06, because we had the children 50-50.
Did you ever give her any more than $500 a month, Mr. Melvin?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
When did you give her more than $500 a month?
Whenever I got taxes back, I gave her pretty much all my taxes one year. I don't remember what year it was. If she needed something extra, if the kids needed clothes, I'd go purchase them clothes. If she asked for extras, when things were good, I would give her the money. No, I don't have any receipts for it.
And this was from the trucking business that you were involved in?
Correct.
Using the truck that the two of you purchased together?
Correct.
As a business? Mm-hmm. Now, did you file a business return in 2007?
Yes.
How many people are listed as people involved in your business?
Just her and I.
Just the two of you?
Correct.
That's because you were in business together?
Correct.
See? All becomes clear. And you were in business together subsequent to your divorce.
Yes.
And you now have one truck.
There's two trucks involved.
You now have
I now have one truck. Correct.
And she took back the other truck.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes, it is, but I would like to point out in 08...
And so what your lawsuit, let me just give you what the lawsuit is. The lawsuit is that you made him a loan, that you allowed him to use your credit. He purchased this truck. He stopped making payments. You made the payments on the truck and then took back, according to him, one of the trucks, the truck that was purchased in 2004, you say is collateral for your child support. I don't think so.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Okay, so now you have a 2006 truck and you have a 2004 truck.
Your Honor, in 08, he took the business over in his name solely.
Show me.
I didn't bring that paperwork.
Miss Melvin?
He changed the name,
Miss
everything.
Melvin, that may be. In 2008, did he make payments on the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he send you child support?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you have your third child with another man?
In 07.
And he changed the business in 08?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Melvin, I do not consider this a loan, madam. You now have a 2004 truck? Sell it.
It's collateral for his vehicle, and I can't until his loan is paid.
Listen, if you two people entered into a business venture and the business venture didn't go well because of the problems with the economy, you don't create a fairy tale. This is a fairy tale, and I don't buy it. Do you understand? Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues.
Yeah, this is case number 116 on the calendar in the matter of Hannafan versus Stanworth.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Hannafan, it is your claim that the defendant, who's a friend of yours, owes you for some credit card charges he made. He says he paid you in cash. Do you want to explain to me what he was doing with your credit card?
Well, I met Mr. Stanworth in August of 2009. I had explained to Mr. Stanworth that I wanted to increase my credit score. Mr. Stanworth promised that he could help me do that by spending money on my credit card with my permission and paying me back, and he promised to pay every part of it back. What?
How? Check or cash?
He paid strictly in cash, no checks.
Okay, go ahead. So what did you do?
He paid me back, and I had began to get a little nervous because of the activities that he was involved in, illegal
What kind
gambling.
of activities, Ms. Hannafan?
Illegal gambling, drugs.
Why would you hang around with somebody who was involved in illegal activities?
I was very vulnerable at the time. I had just left a bad relationship, and he had kind of made me feel like he was my friend, and I didn't know what he was involved in until I began hanging out with him.
So why didn't you stop hanging out with him?
Because he owed me this money, and he had said that, you know, he wouldn't pay me back unless I was around, and he had made threats to me that he would, quote, burn me and bury me, and that he used to get off on killing people, that it, quote, gave him a when he would kill people. And I just felt scared for my life that I would be one of those people.
When did he say this to you?
He said this November 20th. I have a police report here.
When was the last time he made a charge on your credit card?
I believe early November. I'm not, let's see here, November 6th for Smith's Groceries.
And he had his own card?
Yeah, I had made him a user on my account.
What month did he get the card?
He got the card in August.
Did he pay September's bill?
Yes, he did make a payment.
Did he pay October's bill?
Yes, he continued to make bills.
Just a second.
Sorry.
Now, November 6th was his last charge.
Yes.
So what month does he owe on the credit card?
Well, he didn't pay the complete amount back. He would make payments each month.
He says he paid it.
I paid her everything in cash, everything in full. She had a boyfriend that was in prison at the time, and that's why we had like a sugar daddy type relationship where I knew her situation. She needed a little something while her boyfriend was locked up, and while he was locked up, I was there for her. But the closer the date got to her boyfriend being released in December, she just got weird. She got really, really weird, and the more I separated herself from.
What was he doing in jail, Ms. Hannafan?
He had broken his probation.
Was he released in December?
Yes.
When you and Mr. Stanworth were friends, where were you living?
I was living in Taylorsville, Utah.
She was living with her ex-boyfriend.
No.
She had an ex-boyfriend. She was messing around with me. While she was messing around with me, she moved in with a friend.
No, listen to me. You're not following. You were committed on something. When you were friends,
yes,
who were you living with?
Zoe, a friend, and she lived in Taylorsville, Utah.
Up until when did you live with Zoe?
Up until November, and then I moved into my own apartment.
When you moved into your own apartment after December, who did you live with?
When I moved in originally in November, I had taken the place of a friend, and I lived with Kelly.
You said you were living alone, your own apartment in November. The boyfriend came out of jail in December.
Well, in living alone, I mean, I had a roommate. It was a 2-bedroom apartment that I moved into, and I occupied one of the rooms.
Where did the boyfriend go when he got out of prison?
He moved into Zoe's apartment and occupied the room that I used to have.
So you have or have not been living in the same complex as the old boyfriend?
No, I don't. I didn't ever live in the same complex as him. He wasn't my boyfriend. We were just friends. I would go and visit him every Tuesday, but he was just my friend.
Where would you visit him?
At the Davis County Jail.
How am I supposed to tell that Mr. Stanworth owes you money if he paid you in cash and you never gave him receipts?
I don't know. I mean, I've documented every payment that he's given me. He never wanted a receipt, and it was strictly in cash. I've never not made a payment with the cash that he's given me.
May I interject something? Our credit cards were linked. She was also spending money on those credit cards, and I never received an itemized statement of what was being paid. I always knew what I bought. I'm very good with money, and every time I bought something, I paid her in full for it, cash, to pay it right away. I'm not one to wait 30 days. You look on my current credit card statements, all my bills are paid in advance.
Why were you using her credit card, Mr.
She got a credit card in her name. I did promise her I'd help her with her credit. I did promise that.
Why were you using her credit card, Mr. Stanworth?
To help her build her credit. I had the cash. She was a friend. We became close.
Can I see the list of items on the credit card statement, please, Ms. Hannafan?
There's 2 credit cards. There's a Best Buy account and a Bank of America account.
Did you pay the Best Buy account?
I don't know what the Best Buy is about. She was getting ready for her boyfriend to come out of prison. My understanding was a boyfriend.
Appliance?
The appliances were for Mr. Stanworth's home. He had purchased on my credit. What had happened is he said that, oh, this would help my credit score, and I believed him, and I shouldn't have, but I did, and he convinced me to open a credit card account with Best Buy, and we both applied on it. Unfortunately, Mr. Stanworth's credit was not well enough to get credit together, so I did it on my own, and he purchased a washer and dryer, a new refrigerator, and several TVs and direct TV boxes with that.
And where are those items now?
I'm not sure. They were taken to Mr. Stanworth's home. I never had possession of any of those items.
Is that true?
The only thing on that list, it was purchased with washer and dryer, and she was given cash for that.
But it was purchased for you.
It was purchased for the home because she was staying with me also. She forgot to mention that. And I do believe in one of the statements.
Who has the washer and dryer now?
I don't. It's gone.
Where is it?
I moved out of that place. I'm in a new house. It was left there.
Something's wrong with you.
No, nothing's wrong with me.
Oh, something's wrong with you. Unless you sold it to the new people who moved in.
No, I didn't sell it to the new
Why in the world would you
people.
buy something that's 6 months old and just leave it there if you paid for it? I don't believe that, Mr. Stanworth.
It is there until someone moves into the place, and then I will get the items.
What kind of double talk is that?
No, because I have a washer and dryer right now. It's on KSL, which is a site to sell it. Not double talk. I moved into a place that has a washer and dryer.
What's on KSL for a site to sell? What is on the internet?
The washer and dryer is on the internet.
So you're selling it?
Yes, I am selling it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My problem is I believe her just slightly more than I believe you. I mean, I know you're a hustler.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't figure her out.
And later today.
Well, your friend Steve didn't want a drunk.
Well, we were all drunk.
Fighting. Listen, sometimes you get drunk and you just make a lot of love. Sometimes you get drunk and you make a lot of fighting.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria Hannafin says former friend Nicholas Stanworth owes for unpaid credit card charges. Nicholas claims he paid Victoria back in cash.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Stanworth?
Consulting.
Consulting what?
I work for the Sundance Film Festival once a year. When the movies come up there, I set up events at the Sundance Film Festival for certain companies that come in. I present them marketing ideas. If they want certain events such as poker parties.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Stanworth? You're double talking me.
That's consulting. That's what I do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And did you file a tax return this year?
Yes, I did.
How much did you earn?
$85,000.
Doing what?
I consult. These people here in LA pay very good money for setting up events. Indie Film Festival, I set up all their poker parties. I also did a celebrity poker tournament
Where
up
do
there.
you live here in LA?
I don't live here. I live in Salt Lake City.
And what you're telling me is you have clients here who paid you $85,000 to do consulting work for the Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah, but you put a lot of work in. You set up the events. The 2 years before that, I made $250,000.
What you're telling me is that you do that for a one-time event at the Sundance Film Festival.
It's a one-time event, and sometimes I get to go to the...
You know, I have trouble believing these stories that sound very bizarre to me.
Well, that's what I do, and I also, through there, you get other events such as the Super Bowl. You can do Super Bowl parties, Kentucky Derby.
Not can do. I didn't ask you what you can do. I asked you what you do.
And that's what I do, Sundance Film Festival, and I do other things. I set up parties for other people.
Bert, you're following this.
I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. It's work. It's work, and you know what? People pay well to have a good time, and you know, sometimes you do charity events, sometimes you do other things, but it's work.
Ever gamble?
Yes, I do.
What kind of gambling?
World Series of Poker is going on right now. I'm here missing it. It's in Vegas for a month.
What other kind of gambling?
Pretty much poker. I bet on sports. Did well on the Lakers, beating the Jazz this year. No, did quite well. I was in Vegas for that. Won a lot of money. The Jazz were favored. Lakers are a better team.
That way you'd have a lot of cash.
Yes, I do, and I deal in cash.
You have a debit card.
Yes.
Which means that you have a bank account.
Yes, I have 4 accounts.
And when you have a bank account, you have checks.
No, I actually do not have checks. Only for my NMP consulting, only my consulting business.
How old are you?
32.
Why wouldn't a 32-year-old man who earned $250,000 the year before and $85,000 this year have checks and instead keep all of his money in cash and pay his bills in cash?
Just the nature of my business. Gamblers, we keep a lot of money in cash.
Now we're talking.
Yes, we keep a lot of money.
Consulting people don't. Because consulting people are not paid in cash. Consulting people are paid by businesses by check.
I have checks deposited into the business account.
And?
I write checks from the business account for materials for business gigs that I do.
And how are you paid from the business, sir?
I pay myself.
With what?
I write it, well, I transfer money. I transfer money. So.
You see, you almost tripped over your tongue, Mr. Stanworth.
No, I transfer money.
You write a check.
No, I don't write a check. I transfer from one account to the next, and that's considered writing a check online when you transfer banking fees.
So you transfer money into what account, sir?
My personal checking.
Your personal
Checking.
checking.
And savings.
When you have a checking account, you have, what do you have when you have a checking account?
Checks.
Checks.
But I chose not to have checks. I use my check card as my checks.
You know, my problem is I believe her just slightly more than I believe you. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you're a hustler.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a hustler. I know that that's how you make your living. You're a hustler. But I can't figure her out, you know? She's got this passive-aggressive thing that I'm just not getting. I got you,
Yeah.
Mr. Stanworth.
Well, you can look at the bank statements. This girl's
I
making...
got you.
Yeah.
But I'm, you know, I really don't get her right away. But I know one thing. A lot of stuff is charged here, and she's not asking for all that money.
No.
Because she says that you paid her a good portion of it.
Yes.
I mean, on one she says you paid her $700, on one you paid $8,000. You paid a lot of money for purchases that you made. She gives you credit for a lot of those things because all she says you owe her is $1,800. And one of the things that I found troubling, Mr. Stanworth, was that you said, and besides paying her in cash, I gave her a very good deal on a used car.
No, well, I didn't give her the used. I had a used car. She got rid of her Toyota 4Runner.
Did you just say no to me, Mr. Stanworth? You want me to read what you wrote in your answer?
You're absolutely correct.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I can't believe that. It just sounds ridiculous. If it doesn't smell right, it's not true. Why would you all come together and the one person who witnessed the act of vandalism is not here?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria Hannafin says former friend Nicholas Stanworth owes for unpaid credit card charges. Nicholas claims he paid Victoria back in cash.
Okay, you still have the car?
I still have the car, but the car was never Mr. Stanworth's. He drove it, but it was his brother-in-law, Brady. And I purchased it from Mr. Brady, not Mr. Stanworth.
How much did you pay for it?
I believe somewhere around $8,000, but I didn't purchase it from Mr. Stanworth. I purchased it
I had the car for 3 years.
Brady.
Whose car was it?
My brother-in-law's. I had for 3 years. He
Because
didn't
you
want it.
can't have a car in your own name.
I own 3 cars in my own name.
Really?
Yes, I have a 61 Lincoln Continental I'm restoring right now. I have a Nissan 300ZX and a truck.
And how do you pay for the insurance on those?
Cash.
Mr. Stanworth, you're a hustler. And you owe her $1,800. Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I told the truth. There's nothing for me to hide. And she just got a free $1,800. I'm not happy about it.
I was in a bad spot emotionally, and so he kind of filled that void.
It was a sugar daddy type relationship.
I was all alone out there, so he took advantage of that.
Just deal in cash. No credit cards.
Never trust anyone, and make sure you get a receipt and don't deal.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Chenier versus Irby. Step forward, please.
21-year-old stock person Chris Chenier is suing his ex-girlfriend, 21-year-old student Jessica Irby, for the cost of 2 rings he bought for her. Chris says Jessica's a cheater.
Don't get comfortable, Bird. This is not going to take long.
I'm never comfortable.
Good. How old are you?
I'm 21.
How old are you?
21.
You want money back from her for a couple of rings that you bought her, and you
Yeah.
say she promised to give you the money back.
Yep.
Yep. Try yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Walmart.
And what do you do?
I don't have a job right now.
Do you live home?
Yes.
Do you go to school?
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of school?
HCC, college.
Let me tell the story, because that way Bird won't get bored. Try to pay attention, Bird.
Yes.
When you were dating, you went with her to the mall.
Yes, Your Honor.
Quick learner. And according to you, she saw a ring that she liked.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because I read your papers very carefully. And she said, I really like that ring.
Yes.
And would you buy it for me?
Yes.
And you said, I'll only buy it for you if you really love me.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in what month was that, sir?
April.
And she said, I really love you.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you bought the ring.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then in June, she broke up with you.
Well, July.
Or July. Now, putting it all together, it is your claim that because she told you she loved you in April and broke up with you in July, she really lied.
Yes.
And therefore she's not entitled to the ring.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Chenier, if she really loved you in April,
Yes.
she'd be entitled to the ring. It was a gift then. Is that correct?
Well, it was more of a promissory ring.
No. You just said that you said to her, I'll buy you the ring if you really love me.
Yes.
And she said, I really love you. And at the moment she did. Did you ever hear of Elizabeth Taylor?
No.
You never heard of Elizabeth Taylor?
No, I haven't.
How about Eminem? Did you ever
Yes.
hear of Eminem?
Yes.
Did you ever hear of Costa Rica?
I hear there are a lot of Americans in Costa Rica.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 21-year-old stock person Chris Chenier is suing his ex-girlfriend, 21-year-old student Jessica Irby, for the cost of 2 rings he bought for her.
Mr. Chenier, you have to get over it, sir. She loved you in April. She didn't love you in July. You bought her the rings. She doesn't love you anymore. Put a period. Get over it. Goodbye. Have a happy life.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Now I know never to trust Jessica anymore.
I said I loved him, but I never once said I'd pay him for the ring back.
She cheated on me before I bought her the ring and after I bought her the ring.
I never cheated on him like he's trying to say I did.
She used me.
Feelings change, things happen.
I'm just not going to be friends with her anymore.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cheek versus Bailey. Step forward, please.
19-year-old student Kevin Cheek is suing his ex-roommate, 21-year-old bank representative Blake Bailey, for the return of rent. Kevin says they were evicted after only 2 weeks.
Mr. Cheek, according to what I read, you rented a room from the defendant in his condo or apartment.
Yes.
You rented it in May of this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
You gave him $600?
Yes.
That was your monthly rent for the room.
Yes.
You moved in May 2nd, 2003.
Yes.
According to your complaint, something happened with the landlord of the whole place, not this young man. And they told everybody that they had to be out by the end of May. So you decided to leave May 19th. And you want him to give you all your money back.
Yes.
Why do you think you're entitled to any money back?
Because I paid him $600.
That
when
I said.
moved in. Yes, and I wasn't informed. There's a few things I wasn't informed about when I moved in, such as the drug dealing going around the house. There was always people coming in and out, nonstop, and it was just always a problem around me, and I'm not into that. I don't do that, and I don't know, the landlord can actually add to that. He knows a little about that.
The landlord eviction.
Nope.
The landlord told them they had to be out the end of the month.
I wasn't informed in that when I moved in. He never told me. The landlord told him the month before that they were to be out by next month. And I was never told that before when I paid him the money. He never told me that. And nobody had to pay rent. The landlord said, everybody move out, nobody pay rent, and just get out of here, you know? So there's no reason why I shouldn't get my $600 back if nobody else paid money. So, but there was other things I was actually told about.
No, he's just a interesting businessman. You didn't rent from the landlord. You rented from him. You paid $600 a month for your room for the entire month of May. You didn't like what was going on. You said there was drug deal, whatever was going on in the house. It started right as soon as you moved in.
Yes.
Correct? So you stayed there May 2nd, May 3rd, May 4th, May 5th, May 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, right?
Yes.
And you moved out the 19th.
Yes.
You could have stayed the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
No, because there's too much going on. There was.
So listen to me. Listen to me, sir. Same thing that was going on May 18th would have been going on May 28th.
Yes.
You paid $600. Is it your complaint that he didn't pay any money, so why should you have to pay?
Yeah, I think it's totally he should pay, you know. It's money that wasn't given to the landlord. Landlord never
you
received
gave it to your landlord. That's your landlord. He's not your landlord. You never signed the lease with him. Did you, sir, just answer this question. Don't move. On May 1st, did you ever meet with this young man?
No.
On April 29th, did you ever meet with this young man?
No.
Right.
I met him that month.
Shh.
Okay.
He's not your landlord. He was your landlord. Your contract was with him. You paid him the $600. You could have stayed there the whole month.
But I chose not to because I didn't want to.
Here we go. Listen, did you ever hear of the expression, Mr. Cheek, due diligence?
No, actually.
Due diligence means when you enter into a contract, in this case it was a verbal contract for rent, you're supposed to look into the circumstances surrounding that contract. So you could have, if you wished, contacted the landlord. That's this gentleman sitting over here who's dying to talk to me, but I'm not going to let him. And said, listen, I just want to know if everything's okay with this place, whether these people are okay, how long their lease is, because I want to know if I'm going to move in, I want to be there more than a month, because you had a month-to-month tenancy with him if you didn't have a lease. And you didn't have a lease with him, did you?
No.
So it's month-to-month. So you could have gone to the landlord and gotten that information. You chose not to. You lived there for a month. The fact that you chose to leave on the 19th, that was your choice.
Why should I pay that full month, though? That's not $600 worth of rent.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. I'm going to give you this analogy, Mr. Cheek, and then I'm going to just dismiss your case. But I'd like you to hear the analogy. Let's say you go into a delicatessen and you order a hot pastrami sandwich on rye, which costs $9.95 because of inflation. And you get the sandwich, and it's a very, very fat sandwich. And all you can eat is half. And the bill comes, and they give you a bill for $9.95. And you say, I'm not going to pay you $9.95 for the sandwich because I only ate half. I'm only going to pay you $4.50. The owner of the delicatessen says, listen, that's your problem. You could have eaten the whole sandwich. It's not my fault you sent the rest of it back. You chose only to eat half. You chose to leave on the 19th of May, Mr. Cheek. You had a choice. Your choice was to eat the whole pastrami sandwich or just half of it. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your case is dismissed. Goodbye. Have a happy life.
Yeah, this is case number 216 on the calendar, the matter of Wagner versus Mueller Schulte. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. Wagner, 2 of your cars were vandalized. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were furious, you had no idea who did it, so you decided to post a reward, a $100 reward, for information leading to the arrest and capture of the people who had vandalized your cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
Fortunately for you, somebody came forward, gave you the names of 2 people. These 2 young men. You want them to be responsible for the damage that was done to your car. I would like the parents of these 2 young men to sit down because they have absolutely nothing to do with this except if I make a judgment in Mr. Wagner's favor, and I don't want their sons to have any support. Move over. Name?
Brett.
Name?
Chris.
What grade are you in?
Going in 6th.
I'd like you to end everything that you say to me with, Your Honor.
Yes,
What grade are you in?
6th.
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Let's try it one more time. What grade are you in?
6th, Your Honor.
That's better. And you?
7th, Your Honor.
That's good. You see, these 2 boys say that they were there, but somebody by the name of Tony did all the damage to your cars. We used to call that, in the family court, the Soddy principle. S-O-D-D-I. Some other dude did it. When was the damage done to your car, Mr. Wagner?
The damage done to my vehicles, Your Honor, on May 29th. The vehicles are scratched on the driver's side from the front to the back, all the way down the side.
Now, where were these cars parked?
They're parked beside my house on the street, and they're all parked in a row facing uphill. It's a very steep hill at that point.
Were any other cars damaged that day?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many?
The guesstimates from the neighborhood association said there's approximately 14 vehicles damaged that day.
May I see pictures of your cars, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you tired? Are you tired?
Yes.
That's unfortunate. Stand up and put your hands at your sides. Thank you. Okay, you posted a reward, and somebody responded.
Yes, Your Honor.
And as a result of that, you were led to these 2 young men. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where were you on the night of May 29th?
Over at Brett's house, staying the night.
Brett's house?
Mm-hmm.
Had you stayed at Brett's house before?
Mm-hmm.
Who else was there?
Tony.
Had Tony stayed there before?
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know Tony from school? Look at my eyes.
No, Your Honor.
You knew him from the neighborhood?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how old is he?
14, Your Honor.
Now, when Tony stayed at Brett's house, the night that you were there, was Brett's mother home?
Yes.
Was Brett's mother ever in the same room with Tony?
No.
She never came in to look at you and see that you were together?
No.
What was she doing?
Sleeping, Your Honor.
You mean she was sleeping when Tony got there?
No, she was upstairs watching TV.
And she never came downstairs?
No.
When did you invite Tony to your house to stay over?
The night the damage happened, Your Honor.
Where were you when you invited him to sleep over?
In my basement, Your Honor.
What time?
I invited him at 9 o'clock, Your Honor.
9 o'clock in the morning?
9 o'clock at night.
Did he call his mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I assume his mother said it was okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, what did your mother say when you asked her if he could stay over?
She said yes, Your Honor.
At what time did the three of you go out to vandalize these cars?
We went out at 3 o'clock, Your Honor.
3 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you get up from your bed?
We was downstairs watching TV, Your Honor.
And where was your mother?
In her room sleeping, Your Honor.
Who else lives in your house?
My dad and my older brothers.
Where was your father?
In his bed sleeping too, Your Honor.
Now this was on a Thursday night. Did you have school on Friday?
It was when the school was out, Your Honor.
School's out May 29th where you live?
Yes. We live in Nebraska, Your Honor.
Well, they must raise very smart children in Nebraska for school to end so early. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, you all decided to get up and go out. Where were you going?
We was going out to vandalize cars, Your Honor.
Quiet. And how did you intend to vandalize these cars, sir?
We had a box cutter, Your Honor.
Where did you get the box cutter from?
My dad's toolbox, Your Honor. Tony's the one that got it.
Just a second. Where was your father's toolbox?
Down in the basement, Your Honor.
So you allowed Tony to take the box cutter from your father's toolbox?
No, Your Honor.
Sure you did. You saw him take it, didn't you?
No, Your Honor.
Well, you just told me that Tony took a box cutter. How do you know that?
Because Chris told me, Your Honor.
Oh, did you see him take the box cutter?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you told Brett? Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did Brett tell his mother?
I am not here to repeat the biography of this great personality. It is a custom of such ceremonies from the very beginning. Let it be a part of part. Respected audience, as we have enormous consequences and agree at our hand that Alama Iqbal had a multi-dimensional personality of real qualities. So to sum up all the aspects of such a high caliber figure in a nutshell manner is to synonymize a hard nut to crack. Hence, keeping a view in the scarcity of time and remaining in relevant domain, I would like to take up only one vision that he had on his educational philosophy. His profound and thought-provoking views on this particular issue invite us to give them particle shape and set our educational system on the right path. He is of the view that purpose of education should be the build up of character of students at home and at school, as well as character could not be built useless. So you train the youngest. Unfortunately, we have not given the due place to his educational philosophy in our educational system. That's why our educational system get worse day by day at a great pace. It is a bitter reality by skelting his precious educational philosophy,
deliberately.
We have deliberately consequences and agree. We have deliberately consequences. We have deliberately consequenced the whole system. The
चले आप
जी नहीं यार इतनी जल्दी क्या तुम दोनों को एंजॉय कर लो
जी जनाब ये एलईजी के साथ आए हैं जी देखने के लिए। ये देखें एलईजी देखने हैं, यहाँ पे जू देखने हैं इतनी गर्मी में। और
छोटा